After I gave birth, my MIL brought me flowers from my husband's ex. She just wanted to send love, she said. My husband said, she's trying to be supportive. I checked the card. It was signed with a pet name only he had used before. I didn't say a word. I sent them both a gift back, a frame with my baby's first photo, and a note. Not yours. Not ever. I gave birth to my daughter on December 12th in Lexington, Kentucky. It was cold that day, and the snow outside looked peaceful, like nothing bad could ever happen in a world that quiet. The labor was long, 18 hours. I was exhausted, shaking, and crying when she finally came out. But I was happy. At least, I thought I was. Rick, my husband, was right there the whole time. He told me I was strong. He kissed my forehead. He looked at our daughter like she was everything. I remember thinking, this is it. This is our life now. But I had no idea what was coming. The day after, his mother, Sharon, came to the hospital. She was dressed up like she always is, even in a hospital room. Earrings, makeup, the same pearls she wears to every family dinner. She gave me a quick hug, then turned all her attention to the baby. She barely looked at me when she handed over the bouquet. These are from someone who just wanted to send love, she said, all sweet and fake. I looked down at the flowers. Lilies and wild roses. They were beautiful, but something about them felt off. I knew those flowers. I'd seen them before. I tried to remember where. Rick was quiet. Too quiet. I glanced at him, and he just said, she's trying to be supportive. That's when my stomach dropped. I hadn't even looked at the card yet. I didn't want to, but I did. It was a small cream card with gold writing. Neat handwriting. For the new life you've brought into the world. Wishing you peace, healing, and love, always. Love, Bunny. Bunny. Nobody called him that but Alicia. Alicia was Rick's ex-fiancée. The one he swore he hadn't talked to in years. The one he said meant nothing. He told me she was just someone from the past. He even said they ended because she wasn't ready for real life. He never told me he cheated. I found that out later, through someone else. She lived 2 doors down from Sharon. Yeah, they were neighbors. Still were. And now, after I just pushed a whole human out of my body, she sends flowers? With that name? I didn't say anything. I just nodded. I smiled like I was grateful. Then I put the card down slowly, like it wasn't burning a hole in my hand. Rick avoided my eyes the rest of the visit. Sharon kept playing the doting grandma. But I wasn't stupid. I remembered all the weird times Sharon brought up Alicia, even though she pretended it was casual. Alicia would have loved that recipe. Alicia always wanted a baby girl. Or the one time she said, some women just fit into a family better. Yeah, I remembered everything. So I waited until we got home. I printed out the first picture we ever took of our daughter. She was sleeping, wrapped in that little pink blanket the nurse gave us. She looked like an angel. I found a nice frame. Heavy wood. Not too fancy, but solid. Then I wrote a note on a plain white card. No decoration. Just a few words in dark ink. Not yours. Not ever. I packed it up and mailed it to Sharon's house. I knew Alicia would see it. I made sure the envelope looked expensive, something she wouldn't throw away. I wanted her to feel it when she opened it. I wanted Sharon to know too. That was my answer. That was my message. But things didn't end there. No. That was just the start. Sharon didn't say anything right away after getting the photo and the note. But I knew she got it. I knew because 2 days later, Rick came home from work looking tense. He dropped his keys in the bowl by the door and stood in the kitchen like he was waiting for something to explode. We need to talk, he said. I was rocking the baby. She was asleep. I didn't even look at him when I answered. Then talk. He stayed quiet for a few seconds, then said, why would you send that to my mom? I looked up, dead in the eyes. You mean the photo of my daughter? And the note. She's hurt, he said. She thinks you're trying to push her away. I laughed once, short and dry. Good. Rick's face changed. He didn't expect that. I kept going. She brought flowers to the hospital. From your ex signed with your old pet name. And you stood there and let it happen. It wasn't like that, it was exactly like that. He rubbed his hands over his face and said nothing. I waited. Then he said, I didn't know Alicia sent those until we got there. I swear. I raised an eyebrow. But you didn't stop her. You didn't even ask who they were from before she handed them to me. You knew, Rick. He sat down. Okay. I knew. But I didn't want to start a scene. You had just given birth, and you thought letting your ex-fiancé send a gift to our child was no big deal. It was just flowers, Abby. No, Rick. It was a message. We didn't talk much that night. I fed the baby. He slept on the couch. I didn't ask him to, I didn't need to. He knew. The next morning, Sharon called me. I let it go to voicemail. But I listened. Abby, she said, her voice smooth like always, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I didn't mean any harm. Alicia was just being thoughtful. You need to stop being so territorial. This baby is part of our family now. And that includes people who love Rick. I saved the voicemail. And I started thinking about all the little signs I missed over the years. The way Rick's phone would always flip face down when Alicia's name came up in stories. The way Sharon always acted like I was temporary. Like I was a problem. Maybe I was. Because I was about to become one. I didn't answer Sharon's voicemail. I didn't call her back. I didn't even acknowledge it. But I started planning. Quietly. A few days later, I opened a drawer I hadn't touched in months. Rick's old junk drawer in the office. He used to toss everything in there. Receipts, keys, letters, old phones. I found what I was looking for in the bottom corner. His old iPhone. The one he stopped using right after we got married. He said it just died one day and he didn't bother fixing it. But I remembered the charger was still in the closet. I plugged it in. It powered on. No passcode. Like he never thought I'd go looking. The texts were still there. He hadn't reset the phone. Hundreds of messages. Not just from Alicia, though hers were the worst, but from Sharon too. The three of them had been talking behind my back for years. There were messages from Alicia like, "Did you tell her about us yet? Your mom said she saw the way you looked at me last Christmas. She won't be around forever. You and I both know that." My chest went tight. My hands started shaking, but I kept reading. Then I found the message that changed everything. It was from Rick. Sent about a month before I gave birth. She thinks I blocked you. I told her I haven't seen you in years. Don't screw this up. I sat there with the phone in my hand, hearing the baby cry from the next room. I didn't move. I just sat. That night, I watched Rick hold our daughter and kiss her forehead like nothing had changed. But everything had. He saw me watching and smiled. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just tired." I started documenting everything. Screenshots. Backups. I printed them. Stored them in a folder marked insurance. I got smart. I played nice. I let Sharon come visit once a week. I smiled. I let her hold the baby. I offered her tea. I pretended I was still the clueless wife. One day, while she was holding my daughter, she looked at her and said, "You have Alicia's eyes." I felt the rage hit like a wave. But I smiled. "Oh," I said. "Funny. I always thought she had mine." Sharon just smiled back. I was playing a long game now. But I wasn't the only one keeping secrets. Because a week later, I saw a charge on our joint bank account. A large one. To a florist. Out of state. I followed the breadcrumb. Called the shop. The bouquet had been sent to Alicia. With a note. "I miss you. I'm trying. Please don't give up on me yet." It was signed, R. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I stared at that receipt until I couldn't feel my fingers. It was over. Whatever little part of me still believed Rick might just be a weak man caught in a bad situation, that part died right then. He was cheating. Again. Only now it was worse. This time, he was cheating while I nursed our daughter in the next room. While I stayed up all night with cracked nipples and no sleep. While I cooked and cleaned and forgave and pretended. He lied to me. Sharon lied to me. Alicia played her game, and I let them. For too long. But they forgot something. I had nothing left to lose, and that made me dangerous. I waited one more week. Just enough time to make a plan. I visited a lawyer. Quietly. I brought every message, every printout, the florist receipt, screenshots of calls. I showed the voicemail from Sharon, the one where she called my child part of their family, including Alicia. I asked the lawyer one question. How do I make sure he never gets full custody? He didn't even blink. You've already done it. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Alicia. She didn't recognize my number, so she answered. Hello. Hi, Alicia. It's Abby. Long pause. Oh, she said. I wasn't expecting, I know. That's why I called. What do you want? I want you to know I'm done playing dumb. I saw the flowers, the card, the texts. I know everything. She stayed silent. Congratulations, I said. You win. He's all yours. I hope you enjoy what's left of him. Then I hung up. Next, I went home and acted normal. Cooked dinner. Held the baby. Kissed Rick on the cheek when he walked through the door. The next morning, he left for work like always. And that afternoon, I packed. I took our daughter. Her clothes. Her bottles. Her favorite toy. I left everything else. And I dropped the divorce papers at his office front desk. I left a note on top. The same words I wrote in the hospital photo frame. Not yours. Not ever. But I wasn't done. I posted every screenshot to a private Facebook group of women in my city. Moms, wives, sisters. People Sharon liked to pretend she belonged with. I told them everything. I used real names. I told them how Sharon smiled while handing me flowers from her son's mistress. How she held my baby and whispered someone else's name. I knew word would get back to her church, to her little book club, to the charity board she bragged about. And it did. She was removed from the board within 2 days. Sharon tried to call. Dozens of times. I never answered. Rick tried too. Left voicemails crying. Said it was a mistake. Said I was being unfair. That he just needed time. I sent him one photo. Our daughter. Smiling. Happy. In her new room at my sister's house. Safe and warm. Then I blocked him. It's been 6 months now. The divorce is almost final. Rick has supervised visits twice a month, and only because I agreed to it for our daughter's sake, not his. He tried to bring Alicia to one. The judge shut that down fast. Sharon hasn't seen my daughter since the day she said she had Alicia's eyes. I sometimes wonder if I should feel bad. Maybe I made mistakes too. Maybe I should have walked away sooner. Maybe I let my silence build into something sharp. But then I look at my girl. She smiles at me like I'm her whole world. And I remember why I did it. Some things aren't for sharing. Some lines don't get crossed. And when they do, you don't just walk away. You cut them out. For good. Because in the end, I wasn't just his wife. I was her mother. And she was mine. Not theirs. Not ever.